I got to ask this question though, because all right, Andrea, you basically decided that you needed to kind of revamp your program. Is that right?
Yeah, about 5 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So knowing that, I mean, that's obviously that was big of you to do. But how did you think of Brett to do it?
Well, I think it just happened. I didn't sit around and say, who do I need to go ask? Because
I think what happened was you rode Smoking Whiz. You were teaching me the new style, remember?
Well, exactly. So I was helping Brett. He came to get help with that horse, and he put me on that horse. And then he said, well, you keep riding him. And then I showed him, as I said, well, son of a gun, I want every horse to feel like this when I show. So then we went back, and because Brett was doing a lot of things that I told him not to do when he first came with Smoking Whiz, but then when I went and showed him, there was things completely different that horse was programmed to do in the show pen. Even if I changed it a little bit outside, he went back and did some things in the show pen that he was programmed to do. I liked it so much that I told Brett, I say, I need this on my horses, and I say, I need just that. At the beginning, I remember, I just want the slowdown and the circle to feel like that. And then pretty soon we found out that wasn't just going to happen. I had to change quite a few other things in order for that to happen. I don't know, it just evolved from there. But the thing, when I look back, and it's so funny to me, is that, I came to you to learn, and then 15 years later or whatever, you come back and say, hey, I want to do it again. You need to show me the new style. And then 5-6 years after that, I had to ask you again, hey, how do we make these things better? And we went back kind of to
the old
what
style.
It was before.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me. And then another thing that we haven't even mentioned that doesn't have anything to do with Brett, but felt right into place, is that I wasn't real happy with my rundowns and stops. And about 3 years after Brett helped me, I started getting the opinion of Mike Flair at the horseshoe. So then, for some reason, a light bulb sparked up in my head, and I was like, he's talking about it completely different, but the same thing that Brett wants me to do in the circles that we've been doing, it's what Mike is telling me in the rundown. So I flew Mike out a couple times, 3, 4, 5 times, and everything just kind of clicked together to where I was able to get Mike's rundowns and the rest of it from Brett, and then whatever I had in my bag, and put it all together, and everything really matched up together. And I was like, son of a gun, this is going to work. But that horse, being able to show that horse and feeling what Brett had put on him, because I worked for Brett and I rode horses at home, but I never showed for Brett. I went on to Todd, and that was different. So I never really felt what he was talking about. So being able to feel it in the show pen is what made me say, okay, now you need to come back and tell me how we're going to put this on my horses. And that was a process. I can tell you that I was pretty hard-headed. I was so stuck in my own way that it took, I don't know, probably a couple of years for Brett to really break through and show me what it really meant.
So with your talk about the fundamentals and getting these 2 top guys to help you, did it all kind of come back to a common cause?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they presented it maybe a little bit different, but what I felt was the same exact thing. So the position, the body position that they wanted on the horse was the same exact body position that we have put Iceman in the circles to make him circle like that, because we cannot bend him in and make him circle. And Mike showed me to line the shoulder and the hip right up straight and make him drive forward and keep him as straight as an arrow. He said they need to run like a greyhound down the pen. And when I put the 2 things together, I was like, well, that's exactly what Brad is wanting. If I can put these 2 together and make the horse stay in that position. And that's, I think, probably the biggest difference. I was trying to change a body position from maneuver to maneuver, thinking that I was going to put that horse in a better position to do the next maneuver. And when it really came down to is that we put a horse in a certain position and he's not leaving that position throughout the whole run. And that's really what it came down to where we put that horse into that box. And once you teach that horse to stay there, then it's so much easier to do it because nothing ever changes anymore.
Okay. That's it, exactly. Because even it was funny because when Mike came, you even said his technique is still the deal.
Well, when you watch Custom Chrome and Wizard Jack running down the pen, I mean, that's the way you want your horses even today to run down and stuff.
Still today. And, and you were ready for it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, if Mike would have come before you introduced all that to me, it probably would have gone out the window. But because I was already working towards that in the circles, that everything kind of came together, I think. And it took me probably 3 years with you keep reminding me and showing me. But once, it's just like a horse. Once you train them, it's muscle memory. Then you know what that feeling is, and you want that feeling.
And they all look the same now,
Yeah.
So that's a huge thing. I think when your horses start to look not programmed, but they're the same, then that means you're getting comfortable, because it's been that way for several years now.